Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Okay. I'm just going to get started. If people join, they join. If not, this is going on my other socials. Typically not something I do on my main channel, but I decided, hey, let's talk about WrestleMania. WrestleMania weekend has come and WrestleMania weekend has gone. And it's time to discuss what I liked, what I didn't like, what y'all might have liked, whatever. This is Mad Dog Rants, not 285 Live. It's separate things, but if you want to join us at 285 Live, make sure you follow us there too. That's where we're all going to talk about stuff. We're still trying to get that stuff together. But this is my personal channel, so this is my personal views. I ain't got to curate it. I ain't got to hold myself back. I'm just going to talk. I'm going to talk my mess. WrestleMania, night 1, night 2. I don't know which one was better, to be honest, because it's like both of them had really good triple threats. I would say that, just forewarning, just a spoiler. The triple threats were the best things on both shows. Hands down. The men's triple threat for night 1, which was the main event, which was the right call, and honestly could have just been night 2's main event for me personally, but we'll get into that later. And then the ladies, Bianca, Io, Rhea, they tore the house down with their amazing triple threat on night 2, which was the opener for that. Those were the best matches of the night. And again, I'm gonna go deeper into like my opinions and what happened in those matches if y'all didn't see it. But and then there were some controversial matches, especially the main event of night 2, which we'll get into that as well. But let's not deliberate. We're gonna start with night 1. I'm gonna go through the matches. I'm gonna give them my ratings. If you follow me on Twitter, which is I think at Mad Dog Rants, you'll already see my dog ratings, what I've given every match. But I'm gonna run through it just for you on TikTok, YouTube, everybody else who's watching. So starting off with main event, Jey Uso, which was not the main event, despite winning the Royal Rumble. I know that's controversial. It shouldn't have been the main event. Just saying. It's not a main event worthy match. We've seen the match several times. We already knew, well, most people knew what the result was going to be. And it should have been that way. I hate the way it went down, but let the man get his moment. Gunther did his thing. Gunther needs to move on, probably go to SmackDown and fight for the WWE Championship. I kind of see this World Heavyweight Championship, I don't see it in the same breath as the main undisputed championship, which they're still calling it that, which is weird. But it's kind of like a step down, like how they used to do the brand split in the back in the day, and they'd have everybody fight for the secondary championship. That wasn't Triple H's championship at the time, and then it kind of flipped naturally. But anyway, Jey Uso versus Gunther. Everybody wanted to hate watch this match. Everybody wanted to say, oh, Jey Uso can't wrestle. He can't do this. We've seen this. He shouldn't be beating Gunther. They had an okay match. I'm not going to sit here and say Jey Uso turned it up a notch and tore down the house and had a great opening match. They had a good match. It was decent. Way better than Jey and Jimmy from last year. Not the best Gunther match, but Gunther is known for having great matches at WrestleMania. So you can't really say much about that. But it was serviceable. It made sense for the story. There was enough action to keep me invested. There was enough, not to say realism, but the fact that Jey was busting out Gunther's moves, and Gunther eventually got beat by a choke, which is the same way he lost the, not European Championship, the UK Championship, whatever they want to call it. I can't remember the name of it. I think it was the UK Championship. The same way he lost in NXT to Dragunov. He lost to Jey. So I like that consistency. Still weird to see Jey choke somebody out. But hey, he got the Panama Sunrise. He could have did that, but I don't really see Gunther tapping out to that. He lost to a choke. Fair enough. They went out there and had a decent match. I can't ask for nothing more than that. It wasn't going to be a main event worthy match. That's why they had it in the opener. Jey got his moment. Yeet. All that yada yada. Jimmy came out there, celebrated with him. It was serviceable. It was what it needed to be to get Jey his moment. And he got his moment. What they go going forward, what they're going to do about it, I don't know. But what we got so far was pretty good. So Jay beat Gunther, and I gave it 3 dogs out of 5. That's my star rating. So Dave Meltzer, I don't go over 5 stars. I ain't like Dave. He goes like 7 stars or whatever. That don't make sense to me. 3 out of 5. It was serviceable. It was a good match. Not the greatest thing since sliced bread or whatever you want to say. It was decent. So next we moved on to the New Day versus the War Raiders, which shouldn't have been on the card. Let's just put that out there. This is a Monday Night Raw level match. This is not even a PLE. Like, at the worst type of PLEs, this is not that. This can't even, for me, fit on a Saudi Arabia card. Like, you know how they go Saudi Arabia, they do like Clash at the Palace or whatever the hell they want to call it, or, you know, whatever. The Greatest Royal Rumble, Bloodbath, I don't know. Bloodsport. But this does not fit on a WrestleMania card. This does not fit on any PLE. This is a Monday Night Raw match. They had a better tag team match right for the taking. And I waited. I wanted to do predictions, and I wanted to do like the analysis before WrestleMania just to get some content out there. But I was like, no, let me wait till SmackDown, because I feel like at the very least they can add that last minute. Because they've been adding matches last minute. So I was like, I'm going to hold out hope. Nah, they didn't do that. What they did was decide to put a better tag team match, which is the TLC that's going to be between the Street Profits, who are the champions, DIY, the Motor City Machine Guns, and another team. I don't know. It's probably Kit Wilson and what's his name. But yeah, so they're going to do a TLC match on next week on SmackDown. And then they decided to take the New Day, which, fair enough, I like the New Day. I hope people like the heel turn that the New Day did, turning on Big E. That has potential for a story going somewhere. And the War Raiders haven't really done anything. But there was nothing to this match. There was no heat. There was no velocity. It was just like last minute they put together a tag team match because they felt like they needed to put a tag team match on there. So they chose the New Day versus the War Raiders, and just a nothing match. No stipulation, no street fight, no Big E being at ringside, being on commentary at least. That would have at least made it a little interesting, but it was just a by the numbers match, predictable, and the New Day ended up winning. And I just have to say this, it was not good. It wasn't even serviceable. Like how I just gave Jey Uso and Gunther a serviceable match. It was boring. I had people over and they were falling asleep. They were casual wrestling fans, but still, there was nothing to the match that kept them interested. So I gave that a 1.5 dogs. Because it wasn't like, I gotta turn this off bad. It was just like, there's nothing to it. I watched this on Raw in the middle of the 2.5 hours, and I would be fine with that. Or I would go to a show, a Raw, and I'd be like, that was fine. That was a tag team match. But there was nothing to it. So we're going to move on. Jade versus Naomi. One of the more exciting feuds, to be honest. And I've been loving Naomi's work. The work that she's put in to be this heel. Because I was like, ain't no way Naomi can be a heel. Everybody likes Naomi. She's bright. She's bubbly. But she came out there, caution tape. She's been talking trash. She's shown improvement on the mic. Because Naomi has never been that great on the mic. She's just been okay. But she's shown improvement. That weird split between her and Bianca, where they were like, I'm not going to be friends with you anymore. That was, I didn't like that one. I know a lot of people did, but that one was just too hammy for me. So they calmed that down a little bit. They've had Naomi go out there and really just put on her mean face, put on her like, like, I've been down for y'all, but y'all ain't been down for me. I've been overlooked. It's time for me to take control, time for me to take my reign as, top brass. I came from TNA. I was a champion in TNA, which means nothing, by the way. That means nothing to WWE, as you've seen later on night 2. But she was a champion in TNA, which got a lot of eyes on TNA. Same thing with Jordan Grace. She was doing good there. She came back, big pop at the Royal Rumble. A little fanfare, kind of fizzled down. She started losing matches. They paired her up with Bianca and Jade. She was kind of like the third wheel in that. And we already knew there was going to be a split between Bianca and Jade eventually down the road. And we were all waiting for that. That's the direction most people thought was going for WrestleMania. And then they did the angle with Naomi pushing her and who done it, which lasted way longer than it should have. Because we already knew it was probably either Naomi or Bianca. But it turned out to be a really good choice. Jade came back. She attacked Naomi at Elimination Chamber, which was like a big deal. That really kind of set the stage for Bianca winning the Elimination Chamber, and it made it a good match. Then we fast forward to this WrestleMania match, and again, Jade is still new to this. Even though she was in AEW, even though she's had her time to kind of build up, she's still not past that point where you're like, I can trust her in the ring with somebody. I can trust her working with somebody. But working with somebody like Naomi, who is a veteran in this business, even though some people say she's a little sloppy, I don't agree with that. I think she's good. She's not the best. She ain't a Bianca. She ain't a Sasha. She ain't a Ember Moon or Athena. But she's still good. Like, she's still a good wrestler. She's somebody who you can trust to go in there and bring out the best in somebody and make somebody look good. They had a pretty good match. I'm not going to say it's the best match, but they had a pretty good match for what it should have been. A Jade versus Naomi match. I wasn't expecting God's grace. I wasn't expecting nothing like Sasha versus Bianca or Becky versus Bianca or anything like that, or Rhea versus Charlotte, but they had a decent match. And I gave it two dogs. It was a little sloppy. There were some moments where I was like, ooh, Naomi kind of landed on her arm bad. I was like, ooh, Jade kind of still needed some help. Like, you can see at one point where I think Naomi had her in her submission move, and then they were gonna flip over and roll her up, and then she kind of had to forcefully grab Jade's legs and roll around. And I was like, all right, like, you're still not ready for the stage, even though, like, I appreciate the follow and the likes. You're still not ready for this stage. Even though, you have the look, you have the aura, like everybody said, you have the aura, you're still not ready for this particular stage, WrestleMania. I personally would put her down in NXT for a while. I know everybody says that's a downgrade, but she needs something. She needs to get to that level. It don't have to be that long. You've had the New Day go down with go down to NXT. That's not technically a demotion, but you give her time to work with some of those women down there, and she'll step her game up. Especially if you're going to have her face Bianca or, go forward in the women's division. Somebody said Stone Cold should have dealt with Travis. I agree. You had Stone Cold there. Why not have Stone Cold do something? If you're going to have all this madness in the main event, you might as well have Stone Cold do something instead of riding a four-wheeler down, crashing into the barricade, knocking a woman over. That woman and LeBron James need to be best friends, by the way. That flop was amazing. It was like 10 seconds after he hit the barricade, and she was just like, oh, get your money, sis. Somebody should have helped Cody. But we'll get to night 2 after this. We were at Jade versus Naomi. Again, Jade just needs just a little bit of polish. She has the look. So did Chyna. So did, like, a lot of women. But there's a new standard for women in women's wrestling. So if she wants to be one of the best, she has to put in the work. Moving on, we're going to go to LA Knight versus Jacob Fatu. This wasn't about any type of feud. This wasn't about any type of, like, momentum or anything like that. This is simply the coronation of Jacob Fatu. We already knew this was going to happen. We've already projected before he even got to this point. Before he even got to the sign with WWE, we were looking at Jacob Fatu. Same with Zilla Fatu. Same with any Samoan bloodline related. Everybody always says bloodline. He's going to raise to the top. But you see somebody like Jacob, and you really go, man, this guy, is sick. This man is really good. He has a look. He has a good aura about him. He has a good speaking voice. He has intensity. He goes out there and does crazy ass moves that a big guy like him shouldn't be doing. He's real, like he's authentic. If you see him backstage, you're like, man, I kind of like this guy. He has a good personality. Yes, he's had his trouble. So did a lot of people. Booker T. Scott Hall has had trouble in the past. But you see how they turned out. So Jacob can be no different. If he continues down this path, continues putting in the work, he's going to go far. And then you got LA Knight, who, yes, he's kind of been, in the middle of the road. He's a mid-card act. People want to see him as a top star. I personally don't see him as a top star. This is the perfect level for LA Knight. Just to be honest, he reminds me of somebody like Austin Aries. When Austin Aries came into to WWE, everybody's like, "Oh, Austin Aries, TNA, go check his TNA stuff out." I'm like, I did, but he's not a top star, and it's fine. You can be a mid card, top mid card. You can be where the Miz is. That's a great position. It's not like you're low. You're not, used at all. You're on WrestleMania. You're still in marquee matches. You're still in the mix, but you don't. Not everybody needs to be a champion. You can't just give everybody a championship, because if everybody gets a championship, the championship value goes down. And you can say that about Jay. I'll give you that. But Jay has the crowd. LA Knight does have the crowd too. He goes, LA Knight, and everybody's, yeah. But it ain't to the same level as people yeeting, messing up segments, yeeting all over the place. Anyway, LA Knight versus Fatu. It was a good match. Fatu showed intensity, like I said. LA Knight carried his own weight. They had good spots, big moves. And they had one little slip up that I didn't really like. I mean, it wasn't a slip up, but it looked weird when Fatu was coming off. I think he was doing his moonsault, and then I guess LA Knight was doing a catch BFT. The BFT is not the greatest of finishers. It's just like kind of a skull crushing finale RKO mix, and it just doesn't. It don't sell me right. Like I don't when he does it, I'm just like, okay, cool. But to his credit, LA Knight can go in there and do what he needs to do in a match. He's a veteran. But again, he's here. This is his ceiling. Fatu is gonna be up here, man. Like I only say that about a couple of young guys like Braun Breaker. That's a up here kind of guy. Jacob Fatu, that's an up here kind of guy. And then you got like LA Knight, who is middle of the road. He's high mid card, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I gave that a 3 dogs and a half. It was a good match. Next up we had El Grande Americano, and I can't believe I'm saying this. El Grande Americano, which is not Chad Gable, which the commentary was super annoying for this match. It almost ruined it for me. But, Chad Gable going to go out there and have a good match, regardless of whatever gimmick he gets saddled with. He can be Shorty G and have a good match with somebody. But, versus Rey, which was going to be Mysterio at first, and it got replaced because Rey Mysterio got hurt on SmackDown. So he got replaced with Rey Fenix. This is Rey Fenix's first PLE. He hasn't been here long. This is Rey Fenix's first WrestleMania. This is an amazing spot for him. The only thing is the story. It makes sense for El Grande Americano to win. And give Chad Gable some credit. He deserved a win at WrestleMania 2. He's been putting in a lot of work. But for Rey Fenix, it kind of does it. I'm going to leave that to y'all, because I ain't going to just assert my own opinions to everything. But does it kind of clip his wings to have this man come out here and lose? Fresh off of his debut to lose at WrestleMania. He's a replacement, so you can argue that he didn't have enough time to prepare. El Grande Americano did cheat in the match. He did a lot of dirty stuff. So does it does it? It doesn't ruin his momentum. I'm gonna answer that for you. It doesn't ruin his momentum. But I thought, since Rey Fenix was gonna be the guy that replaces Rey Mysterio, that they should at least throw him a bone. Rey Mysterio losing, that would have been perfect. That makes the most sense. But for the story, it makes a lot of sense to have El Grande Americano win this. It's so hard for me to say that. Like, it's such a dumb name and a dumb gimmick, but it is working because it's Chad Gable. One of the biggest things that happened before WrestleMania started was they announced the acquisition of AAA, the Mexican Lucha Libre promotion that has its own issues. I don't know if y'all seen the owner, one of the chicks with the glasses. I don't know too much about what's going on with their politics and stuff like that, but she doesn't look like she gives a damn. She looks like a Hispanic version of Dixie Carter, where she's just like, I don't care. And WWE getting this promotion and then making one of the biggest Lucha Libres out here, like biggest rising stars, lose to a person pretending to be a Lucha Libre is just chef's kiss. It's one of the biggest things that you can like take apart from Triple H and Vince McMahon. Anybody, they're so good at trolling people. They're so good at like mistiming and appropriating things like this. You just got AAA. You're establishing Lucha Libre as like this godsend thing, and then you have them lose to a gimmick that's pretending to be Lucha Libre. So it's still funny. I'm not gonna lie to you. It's still funny to me. I still respect the decision that they decided to go with. I probably would have went with the safe route and had Rey Fenix win, but it makes noise, which is one of the best things that you can do. And then we got a shot. We got Vikingo. He made a little appearance, which he's been doing things in AEW. It's been a good name for them. So how does that relationship work now? It really clips AEW. AEW, boy, I would hate to be competing against WWE because they are petty. They take everything away from AEW. Even like all this teasing with New Japan, it's just like, bro, if I was Tony Khan, I'd be like, y'all, just we give up. We'll consider ourselves secondary to you. Just stop messing with me. I've just spent too much time on talking about this. So I gave them a 3 dogs and a half. Next up was Tiffany Stratton versus Charlotte Flair. Okay, let's just discuss this without too much hate to Charlotte Flair, because I think she's fantastic. I think she's a great wrestler. I just think that the way they use her is just annoying as hell. And Becky, speaking of annoying as hell, Becky is getting to that point where I'm just like, stop just having them come out and win shit. But Charlotte has been there. Charlotte is like 13-time champion, I think. And 9 of her championships have been like randomly getting a championship match without even doing anything. Without earning a championship match. It was just like, oh, Charlotte, SummerSlam. Charlotte, TLC. And it's like, why? Oh, because she's Charlotte Flair. Okay. She's been hurt this whole time. She hasn't been on TV. She comes out, she wins the Royal Rumble. Okay. Like, what are we doing with this? Was this for Tiffany Stratton to elevate? It didn't feel like that, especially with some of these promos. It kind of exposed Tiffany, because Tiffany is not the best promos. She's not the best speaker. To be honest, she's not that great in the ring. She's good, but people just like her really for her look and her character itself. Which, again, I'm not going to make fun of nobody's appearance, but she kind of like very puffed up to me. So I'm not really feeling Tiffany time anyway, but when you oppose her against Charlotte, it's hard to root for Charlotte, okay? Because Charlotte just comes out of nowhere and she's just like, give me the Royal Rumble, give me a shot at the WWE Women's Championship, whatever. I deserve it because I'm Charlotte. which is perfectly in line with her character. I can't say it's not. It just, the feud just didn't sell itself for me. And they were trying to make it very personal, talking about Charlotte's divorces and all this stuff, which is trash TV, which people like. People love that type of stuff. But it's just like, I don't care. Like, you're not, why do I cheer? Why do you want me to cheer Tiffany? If she's going to act like a bad person, rolling out the ring, running, like if she's running, like why do you want me to cheer her? So they go out there and have a decent match. Nothing, again, like kind of like Jay and Gunther. It was serviceable. There were some sloppy moments, but for the most part, Charlotte can go out there and give you a good match every time. Tiffany held her own. They had some nice little false finishes, which is the thing nowadays. Everybody does it, so I can't really, take off too many points for that. But they had a decent match. I can't put anything past it. It wasn't the most interesting match, but it was a good match. So I gave it $3. And then, it went from like a dull show. First of all, okay, and before I get to the main event, I know I'm like ranting and skipping all over the place. I haven't even addressed the worst part of the night. The crowd was terrible. Terrible. I've seen bad crowds. Atlanta had a bad crowd. I didn't watch that WrestleMania, but when I did rewatch it, it was a bad crowd. I guess that's why we don't get any more WrestleManias here in Atlanta. Las Vegas shouldn't get any more either. For all those people that they had, maybe it was like the stadium. It couldn't be because later on they sounded pretty good. But they were dead the entire night until the main event. Just dead. I'm sitting here just like, it's so quiet. Big spots were happening, and it was just like, you hear a pin drop. It sounded like that just now. Just silence. And I wasn't the only one who noticed. I thought it was just me. I'm like turning my TV up. I'm like, babe, do you like... They don't even have the little decibel thing. If they had the decibel thing up, it'd probably be like 35. Terrible. Terrible crowd. And it made the show feel so much longer. So much more, like so boring throughout. That's why most of these matches really don't get past $4 for me. Because there was nothing to it. Nobody was responding to Jacob Fatu and LA Knight, which is crazy to me. But anyway, we go to the main event. CM Punk versus Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins in a Paul Heyman on the pole match. No, it wasn't a Paul Heyman on the pole match. But it might as well should have been. It was one of the best stories, if not the best story going into WrestleMania. It was nothing but bad blood. And it's been bad blood for all these years. Like, you're bringing in The Shield. You're bringing in John Moxley. Even to the point where Seth is yelling at Roman about Mox in the middle of the match. You're bringing in Paul Heyman. CM Punk being a Paul Heyman guy. Paul Heyman being, the tribal chief's advisor, his wise man. And now he's Punk. It was just so poetic. And then people were still complaining. They're like, well, what is the point of this match? Well, I don't understand. There's no championship. There's no number one contender. There's no stakes to this match. If you're not thinking that there's stakes to this match, you're not paying attention to the story. There's stakes. Everything is at stake. The state of WWE itself was at stake for Seth Rollins. The state of the tribal chief and the bloodline and everything he's built for the last 5 years, it was at stake for Roman Reigns. CM Punk's future, CM Punk's past, everything colliding for this man was at stake. His legacy is at stake. Paul Heyman being the advisor for 2 of 3 guys in this match and him having to choose between... There were 4 people telling a story in this match. Not even just wrestling. Like, of course it was a triple threat, but Paul Heyman was just as involved in this match, in this feud as anybody. If not, like, one of the most important pieces of this feud. And people still were thinking, oh man, this no championship. Roman has ascended championships. He doesn't need them. He does not need championships anymore. I would love for him to be a champion again because Roman's like one of my favorite people. But he doesn't need a championship. He can go out there with somebody like Seth Rollins. He can go out there with somebody like Drew McIntyre. He can go out there with somebody like CM Punk. And the story tells itself because everything Roman has done for the last 5 years has had a lasting impact on WWE. You have so many stories, branches that have like blown up because of Roman. A lot of these feuds are centered because Roman did something to somebody. A lot of these are. Drew McIntyre is the way he is because of what Roman did to him and the bloodline. Jacob Fatu, the bloodline. LA Knight doesn't like bloodline because of Roman and the bloodline. Randy Orton, he was going after people because of the bloodline. Kevin Owens, he went crazy because of the bloodline. The bloodline legacy, the Roman Reigns legacy has just created a new like wave of storytelling. A lot of these stories are so intrinsically linked because of Roman Reigns. So you can't just sit there and say nothing's gained. There's no story related to what's going on. If you think that this is your first time watching wrestling and you're just like, oh, there needs to be something on the line. And there's a lot on the line. Paul Heyman's on the line. Paul Heyman is the one who shines the diamonds and make them brighter. He shines coal or whatever he looks in the pile of coal and he finds the diamonds. Because before Paul Heyman, like in story, Roman was the big dog and nobody really liked him. But after Paul Heyman, look at where he is at the top of the card, and people love him. And people were loving this match. I love this match. This is one of my favorite matches of all time. And I'm not even the biggest CM Punk fan, but I feel like he carried himself well. Seth Rollins always does a bang-up job at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns is Roman Reigns. So these guys went out there and had an excellent match. I would put this, controversial, I would put this above Taker and Shawn. Both of them. This is my number one WrestleMania match of all time. This was better than Cody Roman last year. This was a train wreck. Great storytelling. It was everything that it needed to be. 5 stars all around. Five dogs for me. 5 dogs all around. And there's nothing you can tell me. There's nothing you can say to me that would change my mind about this match. I've watched it twice now, and I'm still just like, jaw dropped. And that doesn't happen often. I knew what was going to happen. I knew Paul Heyman was going to, betray Roman and CM Punk. That's logical. The story, it tells itself. But the execution is what got me. The chair is so... They're fucking putting over a chair. That chair spot. That is so big now. Like, you used to have to damn near kill somebody, throwing them off a Hell in a Cell for that to be something big. This chair, like this scene of Seth hitting Roman Reigns in the back with a chair, has become like damn near Judah level. Like Jesus got betrayed. Like, this is the level of it. It's so iconic now. And then just references it, just to see Roman or Seth look at a chair and then look at the back. That's a big pop in itself. And that's what you want out of wrestling. You want moments like this that you don't have to try too hard for. You see Seth look at a chair and you're like... And then the triple powerbomb spot. One of the biggest thing that the Shield used to do a long time ago. Seth is like, hey, come on. Like, let's get him out the way first. Let's get him out the way. We can deal with each other later. And Roman, Roman's going through. He's like, Roman's selling it. Roman is acting like this is, if I team up with Seth, I'm betraying my whole image. And then he decks Seth, and he does it by himself. It's perfect. It's perfect. Everything that they build up to with this match, it's just perfect. The false finishes, the Just everything. I could sit here and glaze the match all day, but I'm not. 5 stars, 5 dogs, whatever you want to say. 5 dogs for me. And the right man won. Seth won. Damn right he won. Paul Heyman betrayed CM Punk first. So you're like, oh, he's going to side with Roman. Nope. He betrayed Roman too. And he sided with Seth freaking Rollins. Who has... As much flack and hate that Seth gets, I don't understand it. Because Seth has been here. Seth has been putting in work constantly, consistently, never failing to show up and show out. So damn right Seth won this. And I could talk about that all day, but we're already like past 35 minutes. So let's go ahead and move on to night 2. Night 2. You already see below the main event. We're going to get to it. I promise we're going to get to it. And I got a lot to say about that. So I'm gonna save my energy for that. I'm going to calm down a little bit because that last main event got me up here. So, we started night 2 with a banger. With another 5-star triple threat match. I don't care what you say. Because these ladies can't... These ladies went out there and did their damn thing. Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair. 3 of the greatest women wrestlers on that roster. Possibly, like, eventually they're going to submit themselves as in the top 5 all time. And I'm including Io. I know she's been like a side project. Nobody's been paying. Io is fantastic. The way she sells, it's so over the top, but it fits. It fits her goofiness. It fits. You know, some people, it's like, okay, you're overdoing it. But when she gets hit and she's just like, you know, noodle arming it, it's just like, it's perfect. And she's the I'm not going to say weakest, but she's like, when it comes to strength, she's not the biggest woman out there. You got these 2 Goliaths, Bianca and Rhea. That's who everybody wanted to see. That's who they wanted to build up to. This is like the Stone Cold and Rock of the women's division. We finally reached that apex where we're just like, yes, give us what we want. And they swerved us. They put the title on Io. At first, I was like, why would you do that? I didn't see the vision at first. I was like, I really wanted just this solo between Bianca and Rhea, which I still think would have been fantastic. I still think that probably would have been like a 4.5, maybe 5-star match. But these 3 together transcended my expectations. They went out there and they were kicking each other's ass. They were doing all the high spots, the KODs, the whatever Rhea's move is called. I can't even remember it. Not Brutalizer, but the Riptide. That's the easiest thing to remember. The Over the Moon. So all that, just it was perfect, man. So the intensity, the just every spot made sense. The hair whip, the juxtaposition for their outfits and stuff like that. I hate that Bianca keeps getting booed, but she kind of turned the crowd for a little bit because she was doing her thing. People wanted to boo her for principle, but when they see her really get into the match, they realize how good she is. Like, she is fantastic. She's not the best on the mic. Neither is Rhea. Neither is Io. They don't need to be honest, because they go out there and have these great matches. And the story built itself. The story, kind of like the CM Punk and Roman stuff like that, it's been going since NXT. These 3 women have come up together. They have climbed their ranks together. It's been a different speed. You know, Bianca kind of went up here faster than Rhea. And everybody thought Rhea was going to go up fast and Bianca was going to slow the climb. It's been the opposite. Rhea kind of had to struggle a little bit to get up there. And then she finally broke through after Edge and all that stupid Judgment Day stuff. But then she made it her own. And she's up there now. Io, it took her a while. We knew she was great, but again, when it comes to the Japanese wrestlers and adopting this new WWE style, then there's the lost in translation when she can barely, not to say she can't speak English, she can speak pretty good English, but it's like when she's speaking, it doesn't translate well as if she was in Japan speaking Japanese. But she's really put in work. She's one of those dependable wrestlers who goes out there and has a fantastic match. and they built it around like Io having this thing over Rhea. They built this thing around Bianca and Rhea saying that they wanted to have this match. And the build, it had its ups and downs, but it made sense. Everything they did made sense. The special guest referee match made sense. And then they had a fantastic match. So 5 dogs. Moving on, we went to Priest versus McIntyre. Probably one of the matches that even though I like Drew McIntyre now, I was one of the biggest Drew McIntyre haters. I wasn't really excited for this match. I kind of forgot about it until it came on. They had a good match. It was a street fight, so you can use chairs and do all types of stuff. Not as brutal as I thought it was going to be, but it was still pretty good. So, not much to say about that. I'm curious to see what they do going forward. The right man won, McIntyre. I'm curious to see what Damian Priest does going forward. I feel like he's going to kind of go down to like the LA Knight slot, which I think me personally, I feel like he's in high mid card. He's not a main eventer for me. So, kind of like Kane. He's going to be like a Kane who he can have these main event matches, but I see him as high mid card. So I get that $3.50. Moving on to the Fatal 4-Way IC title. This is a car crash in the best type of way. Fatal 4-Ways are always going to be crazy, especially when it's like the Intercontinental Championship or the U.S. Championship. It's always going to be exciting. There's not a lot you can do when you don't have that much time to do it. It could have benefited with like less matches on the card. Like you could have pretty much removed the Jake Paul and AJ Styles match and just gave them the same, like gave them their time, and it could have been that much better. Not to say that it wasn't a bad match. It was 4 dogs. I'll give it 4 dogs because you have every element that you needed in that match. You had the Finn Dom betrayal eventually. You had the Penta spots where you get to see what Penta can do, and you had Braun Breaker. Braun Breaker is great. It's time for him to go for the WWE, the World Heavyweight Championship. He's past the mid card level, but he has been a fine IC champion. He's had fine matches. The things with Carlito, I love Carlito. Carlito has been the MVP for this story because he's just been taking, and he's never going to be able to get a one up on Braun Breaker, but he's been getting amazing spears. He got spears to the table today. The reinforced tables that they've been putting over the whole time. And he really did his thing. He did his 1-2. So thanks, Carlito, for all the sacrifices that you take. One thing I forgot to mention about Drew McIntyre and his match. Let me just go back just a little bit. He took a picture. He posted it on social media. I love that. That's the second time doing it in WrestleMania. Keep doing that, Drew. But going back to the Fatal 4-Way, it was time for Dom to be a champion. Dom has... You talk about somebody exceeding expectations. Dom has carried the Judgment Day. Dom is the Judgment Day. Dom has transcended the Judgment Day. It's time for the Judgment Day to go away. Because all you need is Dom, Liv, Dom, Liv, Raquel, and you can use Carlito as his buffer. You take those 4, you don't need the Judgment Day. You can call them something else. You can call them Dom Soldiers. I don't care what you call them. The Judgment Day is dead to me. It's dead. It's been dead. You got Finn Balor, and that's what he should be called. I hope they do something with Finn. I hope he goes to SmackDown away from Dom and it just gives a revitalization of his career. Turn him face. Do something. Because I like Finn. I don't know why he doesn't get anything. Like, he shouldn't be low mid. I mean, he's featured, which is always good. People are always gonna say, "Oh yeah, as long as he's being featured, he's gonna be just okay." But Finn Balor should have something before he eventually is not able to do anything. He should at least be in the mix, like United States Championship mix, something. I mean, not right now because you go against Jacob, you're gonna lose. But anyway. Good match. Again, 4 dogs. Everybody did what they needed to do. Penta doesn't get hurt by losing this match. He didn't get pinned. Finn Balor got pinned, which is the right call. And Dom is the IC champion, which is the right call. And this man turned face. I mean, he didn't really turn face, but the crowd turned this man face. He got one of the biggest baby face pops of the night. And it may be just a Las Vegas thing. I don't think so. I think this man is about to be cheered everywhere he goes. Just because he's Dom Mysterio. Like, this man, I didn't expect Dom to be this great. Because you see Dom when he first came out, and you're just like, to me, it just flashes back to the old Dom, like the little kid Dom. I'm like, he's trying to be his dad. And they turned him heel. I was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And he was pretty good, but this man has been churning the last 2 years. When he won the North American Championship, that's when I was just like, this guy has it. He is so good at just being despicable. Just everything about him, and it's real. Like the chicken tendies, like everything. I'm not gonna kid. We'll talk about Dom maybe later. We'll just have like a Dom glaze fest. But yeah, 4 dogs out of 5. Good match. Next up was Orton, his open challenge. Unfortunately, another injury. Kevin Owens got injured, which Kevin Owens, I wish Kevin Owens could have made it to this match. KO has been doing some good stuff, especially with Cody. So unfortunate, but that's part of the business. He got injured, so they were teasing the whole time that it was going to be a replacement. A lot of people were saying Rusev. A lot of people were saying Aleister Black. Nobody was saying Joe Hendry, except my boy Barlow, who went to WrestleMania. He was in the crowd, and he posted himself literally like, I believe in Joe Hendry. And like on the second clap, they started playing the music. It was perfect. So he got that. Joe Hendry comes out there. And I've been the biggest Joe Hendry fan for a long time. I used to watch WCPW. And, you know, he had that character of being the local hero. He wrestled Kurt Angle. He wrestled Drew McIntyre when he was Drew Galloway. I've watched him climb and become known, because he wasn't known like that. He was known in certain circles. It was like the internet's best secret, really. Like, if you knew, you knew. But like, and then one moment I was just like joking. I created him on WWE 2K24, put him in NXT or whatever. I was just like, oh, it'd be funny if Joe Hendry showed up. And like the next week he showed up to NXT. I was just like, whoa. And that's like when TNA and WWE started this working relationship. Appreciate the likes. I'm like, Joe Hendry's really going to be in WWE. That's cool. I didn't know he was going to show up at the Royal Rumble. I didn't know he was going to show up at WrestleMania as Randy Orton's opponent. That blew my mind. I was so ecstatic. I got up, like I was falling asleep because these matches weren't that, like they were starting to go downhill during the middle of night 2. But the moment Joe Hendry came out there, I was excited again. I was up. I was like, okay, let's see what this man does. I knew it wasn't going to be a long match. I knew they weren't going to give him a long time to shine. But this is perfect for somebody like Joe Hendry. I hate that he's the TNA champion because it kind of makes TNA look a little bad. It's like, oh, this is the best your champion can do. WWE's not going to treat TNA well. I just might as well get over that. But this is a perfect spot for Joe Hendry. It's WrestleMania. And you have this story built in that you're not supposed to. Appreciate you, man. Your name is long. I wanted to give you a shout out, but 3005, 220, 1 foot TT. I guess that's your name. Appreciate you. All the likes. Appreciate you coming through. What else said? Joe Hendry, he's been building up this story, and again, it's like the internet's best secret. And to finally see him on WrestleMania, it just makes you feel like, you know, it makes you feel like you could just jump off the couch and become a WWE superstar. That's like what dreams are made of. That's who Joe Hendry is to me. He's not supposed to be there wrestling Randy Orton of all people in this marquee match as his opponent, his mystery opponent. They didn't give it a long time, which is fine. Joe Hendry got to show off. Kind of had his little hurricane spot where he's like, try to do the chokehold, and Randy Orton's looking at him like, and then he does the power slam, kip up spot, back to the camera, flash, and the perfect Randy Orton RKO. Randy Orton is so good, man. I love Randy Orton. I don't feel like he can ever go wrong. He could be 80 years old and give somebody an RKO one day, and I would just pop. But the Joe Hendry spot and the RKO, that's all that was needed. Again, it sucked for TNA because that's your heavyweight champion. That's your top guy. Kind of makes y'all look bad, but for Joe Hendry, it didn't make him look bad. It really gave Joe Hendry that spotlight. His song is amazing. He's Joe Hendry. I can't give this more than 2 stars. It wasn't a great match, of course, but you got your shit in, and sometimes that's all that matters. And to be in the middle of the card, it's not that bad. Great pop though. And then we went on. Again, this is literally like a roller coaster. I was going up and down, up and down, up and down. I woke up for the Fatal 4-Way. It was kind of like, they do a lot of these ads and they do a lot of these commercials that kind of put you to sleep. And then we got to Logan Paul versus AJ Styles. Another match that I really just was not really feeling. They tried to build in this YouTube versus wrestling community that at this point, Logan Paul is a wrestler. That was cool 2 years ago. But now it's give it a rest. He's integrated within your system. We can't just keep saying Logan Paul is great because he's an entertainer coming in and wrestling. He's not full time, but he's a scheduled wrestler. You're gonna see Logan Paul. He's not like Bad Bunny. You see Bad Bunny a couple times. You see Pat McAfee a couple times. You see you used to see Stephen Amell a couple times. You see Logan Paul big shows. He does everything now. So it's time to start treating him like a real wrestler. It's time to start moving him up. Our expectations of him up. And for me, he's just still not there. He can do athletic stuff. There's nothing wrong with that. He can speak on the mic. He has real heat. It might be go away heat. It might be actual heat. He makes things entertaining. I will give him credit where credit is due. But I don't care to see him like that. I don't personally care. And this match didn't make me care. The best thing about this match was Karrion Kross. And that's saying something. Because I, for the longest, have not really cared for Karrion Kross like that. Because of the way they positioned him. But Karrion Kross come out there. He really wants AJ to tap into the dark side. And that's been a theme tonight. Tap into the dark side. Become a bad guy. We got to do this for the WWE. They could have did a lot. I thought personally, they could go tear the house down. It's AJ freaking Styles and Logan Paul, but it was a serviceable match. It was okay. So I gave it 2 dogs and a half. They're probably gonna run it back, more than likely, at a big show. So we'll see. We'll see. And then you want to talk about the show going downhill? Please give me just one more like. Okay, thank you. It was at 666 at one point. I don't do that. But you want to talk about it going downhill? It went flatlined after that match. Flatlined for me. I was sleep. I had one eye open. This is the women's tag team match. This is Liv Morgan, who's been doing good work this year, and Raquel Rodriguez versus Lyra Valkyria, and it was supposed to be Bayley. Bayley got taken out, which I hope there's a good reason she got taken out of this match. And a mystery opponent. So it's Lyra Valkyria. It's not going to be anybody besides Becky Lynch. They're not going to do anything exciting with this. It's going to be Becky Lynch. Her music hits, whoa. And like I said earlier, she's hitting that point where I'm kind of sick. Even though we haven't seen Becky in forever, I'm kind of sick of seeing her in these matches, to be honest. Because she just comes out and she gets stuff. She gets stuff handed to her. There is no reason Lyra should have even been facing these two for the tag team championships. She's already IC champion. Put the IC championship on the card. You should have had Liv Morgan versus Lyra Valkyria for the IC championship. I would have enjoyed that way more than the tag team championship. The tag team championships have not been relevant ever. Even when Jade and Bianca had it, it was just kind of like, okay, there's something for them to do until they break up. So I can't really speak much about this match because I'm gonna be honest with you. 33-year-old me fell asleep to this match. So if somebody else has an opinion and wants to speak it out in the chat, I'll let them speak it. But for me, this tag team match was boring. I fell asleep. I can't even give it star ratings because I fell asleep. So I haven't heard anything good about it. Everybody's saying pretty much the same thing I was saying. Like, why is Becky right here? Why is she doing this? You know, give somebody else a chance. Like, what happened to Roxanne Perez? Like, give her a chance to be on the show. You know how if like Roxanne would have been, he says, yeah, I also suck. If Roxanne would have just replaced Bayley and got her moment and would have been like, that could have started something between them. Like, oh, Lyra, you chose somebody I was beefing with to be your tag team partner and you won? Like, I thought we were supposed to be tag team partners. And then have it turn out to be Roxanne was the one who attacked Bayley. I don't know. You could have done a lot more with this story, but Becky coming out and winning. Okay. So I fell asleep. But the match that I was waiting for, the main event, John Cena. This is, everybody know he's going to be coordinated for 17 times. I knew this. I'm not even the biggest John Cena fan. I dislike John Cena. It's on record. John Cena was the reason I stopped watching wrestling back in the day. After he returned at the Royal Rumble in 2008, inactivity. TikTok's being weird. Hold on. Let's talk about I'm inactive. Hold on, I just got to drag this puzzle piece real quick. Give me 1 second. Talking about lives going in. Alright, verify that I'm still active. I'm clearly active. The thing is going. Okay, anyway, back to it. John Cena was the reason I stopped watching wrestling. I went on a hiatus from like 2008 to, I want to say, the night before the Ultimate Warrior died. I think I joined back during the Hall of Fame. So like The Shield and Kevin Owens and all these indie people got me back into wrestling. But John Cena was the one reason I got out of wrestling. I was just like, I'm done with John Cena. He's retiring, so I get it. I get the reason to put the championship on him. The build itself wasn't all that for me. Everything just came off lazy to me. If you liked John Cena coming out still with the jorts, still with the same music, no frills, no flair, no rock, no nothing. Flair was not intentional to say like he should have came out Ric Flair. I'm saying like Flair as in he should have had like something about him that changed, that made me feel like this is a different John Cena. Not just the same John Cena we've been seeing for damn near 20 some years. John Cena should have came out with something edgy, something, maybe just a chain, something that made me just feel like black shorts, something, I don't know. But he came out the same John Cena. They blacked out his Titantron. Okay. It just comes off lazy. It's like, I don't want to change anything because that's what the fans expect. Okay, well, the fans expected The Rock to be some douchebag heel last year, and he came out and he turned that to a whole nother level. That's what we want to see. We want to see things that make us excited to watch the product, even if you're a heel. It just comes off lazy to be like, oh, I'm not going to do any of that. You don't have to change the music, but do something different with your presentation. They still got the same trucks with this man's face plastered all over it. They still got the same billboards. They still got the same T-shirts parading around this man like he's a hero still. Even commentary was just like, I'm going to be biased for this match. John Cena's the GOAT. Like Michael Cole, you've been cheering like all the good guys lately, but John Cena gets a pass because he's the GOAT. Because he held the championship more than anybody. That's a rant for a different day. So, the match happens, which I even threatened to call this a match. I'm almost like throwing up because just thinking about this. Slow, methodical, which is fine. A lot of matches are like that. They're designed that way. We're supposed to be like a build up to John Cena doing something, a build up to Cody Rhodes. It was slow the entire time. No, like, nothing big. The best thing that happened was John Cena throwing a big boot. Like, people pop for that. But there was nothing, like, to get you going. Nothing to get you like, oh, man. The tried and true false finishes with John Cena doing, like, the super AA and regular AAs and Cody kicking out. We've seen that formula. We've seen people kick out of the crossroads, so I'm not even looking forward to that either. And then, of all things, you have that stupid-ass song that you played the entire night. I was so sick. You ain't got no other music that you can play for Travis Scott? Fee. Like, something else, please. You have that stupid-ass music play again. We've already been hearing it the whole day. 2 nights. We've heard this song for 2 nights. That's what... We've heard it at least for like 12 hours. And he comes out. He pulls out the referee. Distracts Cody. Cody gets hit by a belt. And Cena wins. LOL. Super Cena wins. And nothing. I felt nothing. I knew Cena was going to win. I knew there was no chance that Cody Rhodes was going to win. I'm not hating on Cena for the fact that he won. I understand the reason to put 17 on this man for his retirement. It makes sense. But you gotta do something. You gotta try. It's the main event of WrestleMania Night 2. And you didn't do anything exciting. You had The Rock in Las Vegas. You had Stone Cold in Las Vegas. I get every event can't be like last year where it's like everybody showed up and was doing all this chaos. But do something. Do something. I don't care if Stone Cold went out there and turned on Cody. Do something. Travis Scott, that's almost worse than when, what was it, Jon Stewart, right? Jon Stewart stopped John Cena from getting his 17 so long ago. That's almost worse. Travis Scott, he's been training to wrestle and stuff like that. He didn't look like it. He threw probably the worst punch I've seen from anybody. And Snoop Dogg has done WrestleManias and wrestled people, and he threw some weird offense. But Travis Scott had to be the worst. So that being said, John Cena won. Cody doesn't lose anything from this. He doesn't. People were tired of Cody being champion anyway. I wasn't. I personally think he could have done better with like a second year away from the bloodline, away from The Rock. Because The Rock's involvement doesn't make any sense anymore. Like, oh, sell your soul to me and become this great thing, John Cena. They could have used that in the story. They could have been like, oh, I gave myself... Oh, that was going to come off way wrong. So pause ahead of time. I sold my soul to The Rock so that I could extend and be 17 times. He didn't do none of that. He was just like, I have to win because... 17 championship. I want to be the last real champion. And why even have The Rock involved? If you wanted a Cena heel turn to really cap off things, and you could even have Travis Scott at this point, take away everything you did at Elimination Chamber. If you're not going to have The Rock, I'm not saying because that was a big moment. Take away the things you did at Elimination Chamber because you're not going to have The Rock. Have Cena win the win the Elimination Chamber, just like planned. You don't have that confrontation with Cody and Rock at Elimination Chamber at all. Just have them go out, be professional faces. Oh, this is going to be the biggest match of all time. It's going to be John Cena versus Cody Rhodes, old versus new, blah, 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 face versus face. Have it built up like these two Goliaths challenging each other. You already have that stipulation. You can have Cena kind of show little flashes of being a bad guy. Have Cody really ham it up and be like, I'm gonna do anything it takes. Like, have that in the back of people's mind. Like, I'm gonna do anything it takes to beat you, John Cena, because I don't want you to be champion. Your time is over. It's my time now. Something. Have him like show instances of dark where you're thinking like, oh, well, he might join up with The Rock for real. And then have Cena be the one to do it at WrestleMania. How big would that have been for Cena to turn heel at WrestleMania and win his 17th championship that way? Even if the match was terrible, at least the angle could have saved it. That's one thing you can do to alleviate a bad match. You can have an angle that saves the match. Roman has done it. As much as I give credit to Roman, Roman has had bad matches that has had great angles that save it. And you're just like, oh, what's going to happen next? I don't care what happened next now. You already kind of played your hand. You played your card. Cena has been a bad guy and not doing anything for like the last couple weeks. But if you would have saved it for WrestleMania and then had The Rock kind of like smiling. The Rock doesn't even have to be there. You can pre-record this. Have The Rock smiling at the end and Cena finally just snapping. And, low blow. Because Cody could have been paying attention to the Titantron. Travis Scott could have ran out there. Yes. Because Travis Scott could have been hamming up. Be like, I really want this guy to be 17. I've been watching John Cena since I was a kid. Something. Give it some more brevity. But it just came off bland. It came off bland. This match came off bland. Travis Scott came off bland. Worst like celebrity involvement ever, probably ever. I ain't gonna say ever. It's probably like something a lot worse. Before it was a main event, one of the worst main events of all time. For night one to be like top number one for me, this is awful. It was awful. So congratulations to Cena for his 17th championship. Which means nothing. Like, let's talk about that. Does a 17 championship mean anything when you've not held it like an average of 100 days per championship? I think the average is like 90 days per championship. So you've been like a 3-month champion for 17 times. To me, that's not good. That's not a good ratio. Like, I'd rather be somebody who held the championship like Roman for, over 1,000 days. Or somebody like Punk, who held it over like 493 days or whatever. That's a good reign. That means you've had the jetpack strapped to you. And you've been a good champion. That means business was high during this point. Everybody remembers things well during this point. When you go back and look at Cena's reigns after 2008, business was plummeting. And people like to blame other people. They like to blame, Jeff Hardy for his drug abuse and all that stuff. But Cena didn't elevate the product. It was, people were getting tired. That's why he has the Cena moniker in the first place. After 2008, it was just getting to the point where we were tired of saying John Cena. He's going to have the same match. He's going to get beat up. He's going to get a lot of polish on him. And then he's going to do his AA and win. And he's going to bury whatever angle that he was in. People like, and I love Wade Barrett was just like really anti-Cena. That was perfect. Because it makes sense for him to be like, oh, F you, Cena. You ruined this man's career. Because he was, highly touted at this point with the Nexus. It should have been his ascension. I cannot speak. Ascension. But Super Cena destroyed it. Super Cena destroyed a lot of stuff going from 2008 to about 2013. Once again, I say the new influx of NXT, Kevin Owens, Seth Rollins, people like the Wyatts, Roman Reigns, Dean Ambrose, they really saved WWE from the dark period of John Cena. And then John Cena started picking up a little bit. Even though I prefer him in the mid-card, facing people like AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, he fits better that way. But him as the top champion, it just never sits well with me. He's just not interesting. He does the same thing, just like how Roman said, it's like missionary. It's the same thing over and over. It really is. It's the same orange, red, pink, blue. Like, it gets tiring. Mix it up. But yeah, that's my tirade on WrestleMania. I didn't even get this match a star rating. I just gave it the throw up emoji. It's literally a 0 stars for me. I would, if somebody was torturing me and like go overseas or something like that, you get captured, and you gotta give up the enemy. I mean, you gotta give the enemy like all the trade secrets of America. If they played this match, I would be like, please turn it off. I will tell you everything that you need to know. That's how bad it is for me. It's awful. It's one of the worst matches I've seen at WrestleMania. This is like how everybody talks about Roman and Triple H. I think that was an okay match. This is worse. This is the worst match I've seen at WrestleMania for a long time. Like worse than like Cena, Miz. It was god awful. But it made sense for Cena to win. Again, like that's the difference between me ranting about this match and me ranting about John Cena and me saying that story-wise it made sense for Cena to win. You just get to this road a little differently. I know people don't like face versus face dynamics, but we've had that before and it worked. Like Stone Cold versus The Rock. Those two were faces when Stone Cold decided to turn heel. They had edge to them where they were like, I got to do anything to win. You have the opportunity to recreate stuff like that. You have Cena being desperate, saying like, I need to win. I have to beat you, Cody. You could just play it back. You can play the greatest hits. I have to beat you, Cody. This isn't about the fans. This is not about my ego. This is about my legacy. I am retiring this year. I've already said it on record. And that builds itself. If you're not going to have The Rock involved, why have The Rock involved? Why is The Rock randomly showing up to these random events, doing all this, doing all the goosebumps charade and all this, and he's not involved? It makes Cody look stupid. It makes this whole story look stupid. Like, who's really pulling the strings? Is it really The Rock? Because The Rock is not showing up. The Rock doesn't care. Cody could have won last night and The Rock wouldn't have been there. Travis Scott is the one that you sent. Of all people that you have under your power as The Rock, you send the rapper Travis Scott to go out and take out Cody for John Cena. It made John Cena look like he couldn't do it by himself. You give John Cena that power, and it could have been something simple as Travis Scott being at ringside because he's the host of WrestleMania or whatever, and he could have slipped him the chain. This could have been like a new chain that The Rock gave him, like a diamond encrusted chain or something. Just simple stuff like that you can easily like translate. Oh, this chain is The Rock's chain, and it represents like bondage for John Cena because John Cena really did sell his soul to The Rock. Something that makes you remember that The Rock's involved in this story, and they didn't have anything. Not a single answer to why The Rock needed to be a part of this story. And again, my wife is like super mad at me because I'm like the biggest John Cena hater, and I go out on a tirade about this. But again, it made sense for John Cena to win. You just needed to get to the path a different way. So what do we do going forward? For everything. I'm not just going to talk about John Cena. Cody shouldn't be challenging for the title soon. It should be at least SummerSlam. Or maybe even at the end of the year. Like Saturday night main event. Or some big PLE at the end of John Cena's like last month. He shouldn't even be sniffing around the championship. You got to build Cody back up. You should have people like Randy Orton. Randy Orton should be the first person that should be going after Cena. It should be built up. Like, again, use Saturday night main event to really sell these matches. You can do it. Randy Orton versus John Cena is still like a highly touted match. CM Punk versus John Cena at SummerSlam. It writes itself. You can have Roman Reigns versus Cena. They don't have to win these matches, but you have that ability. And you can translate all these to like The Rock coming in and stopping Roman from winning. You have potential everywhere with this fallout. But again, Triple H has not shown me that he has the ability to book anything aside from like the bloodline. Because the things that he's done for Cody, it's not good. Going forward for Bianca. Bianca lost, which is cool. You know, she stays on her show. Now it's time for her to get involved with Jade and Naomi. It needs to be like a blood feud between Naomi and Jade. And now Bianca has to step in and she gets involved. And now she's in the blood war too. And maybe she turns heel. Because the crowd certainly wants her to be heel. Maybe they jump Jade and then that starts a thing with Jade and her. And somehow you get Bianca to get the championship away from Tiffany. Because I don't think Tiffany should be a long-term champion. So they need to take that off her. Give it to Bianca. Let Bianca be a heel. And let Jade win the Royal Rumble and challenge her. And that could be your next WrestleMania match. Where do you go for with Charlotte off TV? Where do you go with Lyra? I would say move her in a program with Bayley first. Not Becky yet. That's going to be eventually the thing because, of course, they want to have a marquee match. Those tag team championships are a detriment regardless. Like, it's time to really try to build up a tag team division. Like, stop putting it on people who have single titles already or who should be in the singles division because it muddies the water. First of all, you're not even booking the Intercontinental Championship on WrestleMania. So what's the point of even having it? Like, the United States Championship is pretty good. Like, the way Chelsea Green is running her stuff. And with her secret Hervis, that's a cool idea. Now you got people like Michin, and now you got people like Zelina Vega who can challenge her. You got something going on with it. I don't see anything going for the IC Championship unless you do something with Bayley or Roxanne Perez, or you bring somebody up from NXT. But I'm not interested like in Lyra right now with Becky. It just makes it uninteresting, to be honest. Going forward, Braun Breaker, again, it's time for his extension to the WWE Championship. The World Heavyweight Championship. You got Jey Uso, fresh off of his win against Gunther. They already have like a little spat. They've already had their moment where they face each other. I think, Jey beat him one time and Braun Breaker beat him back. So you can run that back. You can do SummerSlam, Braun Breaker beating Jey Uso and becoming the World Heavyweight Championship. Maybe people will say that's too early, but it's Braun Breaker. Like, he's going to be a good World Heavyweight Champion. What do you do with Gunther? Gunther needs to go to SmackDown. Gunther needs to be doing something bigger than the World Heavyweight Championship. Damian Priest, mid-card. He should be United States champion facing Jacob Fatu and stuff like that. It's a good feud there. Drew McIntyre, same thing. Just having feuds with people just for the hell of it. Maybe a feud with Randy Orton, but not WWE Championship. Maybe like once or twice he can go against John Cena. What do you do with the New Day? Something. Get Big E involved somehow. Let them be as annoying as possible to Big E. Even if you're not going to have Big E come back, Big E can be the manager of somebody who can beat them. Bring somebody up from NXT to be... You can bring Fraxium up and let them have a WrestleMania match against them later on down the road and have Big E cost the New Day. Where do you go with... I said Gunther already. Ludwig Kaiser, keep him on Raw, have him in the IC mix still. Dragunov is going to come back, have him in the IC mix. Because Dom is going to need opponents. Dom is one of those people. He's one of those ones. He need to hold that title for a long time, at least until WrestleMania, and just be so despicable, bro. So despicable. But people are going to cheer him anyway. Roman. Where does Roman go next? Roman is always going to be top of the card. He's part-timer, so he's not going to be featured a lot. But eventually you got to run that one with him and Punk. And then you got to run that one with him and Rollins. He got to get a win over Rollins. Because Rollins has got this man's number. What do you do with CM Punk? Once again, I think the biggest thing you should do with CM Punk is have him finally get off of Seth Rollins' payroll That's the best way I can describe that. And then finally, just like step up against John Cena at SummerSlam. That should be the marquee match. CM Punk versus John Cena. We're running this back. SummerSlam or wherever the next pay-per-view is in Chicago. Have them lose though, but still, that's like, that's going to be a great build-up. Rhea Ripley, keep her on Raw. Keep her in the picture for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship. She can run it back with EO. But I don't really see... I don't know. That's the hard one to really project. Because as a face, it's like, who do you really put her up against? Like, who are really like the villains? Unless you run it back with Liv, which I don't want to see again. Bianca may be a good one if you really turn Bianca heel. That's a ready-made feud. I don't see Rhea becoming a heel. Unless you turn Becky heel, which, again, another one of those things. Rhea's probably going to be like not featured as much. So we'll see. And then EO, of course, she's the champion. Have her be dominant as a champion. Have her be seen as a champion. Then have her face off against somebody like Rhea, maybe at SummerSlam. Have Asuka come back. That'd be a good feud if you get rid of Damage Control. Kairi, Sane, it'd be a good one. Like, time to take her away from that. Or if you don't want to take her away from that, face factions don't really work as well. But yeah, I'm gonna get off this thing. I've been ranting for about an hour and 30 minutes by now. But appreciate y'all joining, listening to me rant, sticking with me for a little bit. Once again, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it. You can find me here on TikTok. Mad Dog something. Mad Dog Rants. Mad Dog whatever. I'll put it in the YouTube links. TikTok, you just don't have to find me. At Mad Dog Rants on YouTube. I'm on Twitch. I just be everywhere. So once again, appreciate you. Let me know what y'all think about WrestleMania, because I'm really curious to see what everybody else thinks about WrestleMania. Comment, share this, chop it up, do whatever you want with it. Peace out.